Happy St. Patrick's Day from AllBrands family to you. We're so excited to be with you here today, and Cindy Hogan, who's going to be talking about the Persona machine and the ScanNCut. We're going to be doing applique and monogramming on hats. It's going to be so super cool. So without further ado, don't forget, every AllBrands show, we do a giveaway at the end of the broadcast. So to be eligible, comment #AllBrands, and maybe you'll be lucky today. You know, hope you're wearing your green. All right, so let's bring in Cindy Hogan. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, Barbara, how are you today?
Very good. We have tons of folks saying hello.
Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Oh, look here. Here's one from Kelly Smith. She says, I made my first shirt last night, and I
can probably pull up a picture of that for you.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
She did an awesome job on it.
Oh, so cool, Kelly. And then, yeah, so many folks watching. It's so great to see all of you. So what's in store today?
Well, today we are going to take a monogram design, and I'm going to show you how to change it into an a cut file for the ScanNCut to read on the Persona. And then we're going to go over and get our hat ready at our staging table. So, and we're going to use the Durkee frame for this one, the Durkee Cap Frame for this one. There's a use for both cap frames. Don't get me wrong. The nice thing about the Durkee Cap Frame is that if you want to do something bigger than that, 5/8 by 5 by 1/8 by 2 1/8. I mean, 2 3/8 is kind of small. So, and you know how we are in the South because you live here too. We like those monograms big. So the Durkee Cap Frame allows you to get bigger. What the standard cap frames are great for is if you're wanting to make sure that it rounds the area. So let's say you're putting Tennessee on it. If I put it on with a flat cap frame, then that Tennessee is going to just be straight. Yeah. If I put it on with a regular cap frame, then it rounds to the cap. So since we're doing a monogram, we're going to do it smack dab in the center of my hat so that I can be loud and proud and wear my monogram.
Bigger is better, right?
Yes, bigger is always better. So let's get the file set up on the Persona, and then we will take it from there over to the other camera. Okay?
Yeah, and I'll be monitoring all of the comments. So if anybody has any questions, just ask us throughout, and I will be here, and hopefully we'll be able to get them answered live. So
for sure.
All
right, you flip over to my Persona, and I'll switch the other one. Oops, other one. Oh, the PRS, baby. Am I seeing? There we go. Perfect. All right, guys, we're set up at the Persona here, and I have loaded just so you know, built into this machine, there are 405 built-in embroidery designs. There are 20 alphabet fonts in here, and there are quilting designs in it and alphabet designs. So there's tons of stuff built in. I happen to want a monogram that was an applique and that was not in the machine. So I've loaded that design onto a USB stick. This machine does take a USB stick. It also reads those encrypted Disney files from Embroidery. So This is the only tubular machine that we have in our lineup that reads those embroidery designs. And when I say tubular, let me pop back one more time so you understand what I'm saying. This little tube right here that sticks out, it's called a free arm. So it allows you to get difficult things in there, such as your caps on the regular cap frame that I've got on the other side, and bags and onesies, things that you don't want to take apart. Okay, so let's go in here and grab our USB stick and let me find my embroidery design that I want to use today. So here's my monogram, and I purposely set this one up to where it's not color coded. And by that, I mean it does not have the color applique material assigned to it yet. So if we want to do that, all we have to do is touch this little thread spool here. And down here, I'm in the Brother thread palette. There's a little icon that has scissors on it. That is the color applique material. And that's what the ScanNCut knows to read. So once we do that, we can touch OK. And let's go ahead and touch embroidery for a second. And then let's touch our memory. And we're going to save this back to the USB stick. And it'll be saved out as a PHC file. And our ScanNCut machine can read that PHC file. So are we ready to go over to the ScanNCut? So Miss Barbara, flip me over to my ScanNCut. There we go. All right, on the side of my machine here, there's a USB slot again. So I'm going to put my USB in, and we're going to touch the Retrieve Design key. And let's go ahead and touch our USB stick. Find that design. So this time it'll be in my B pocket because that's where designs that are saved off the machine land. They land in your B pocket. So here we go. There's my PHC file that I just saved out. If I had not color coded it, I would touch the flower icon, which brings in all of the pieces. And so you can see all of the different pieces, but that's not necessarily what I want because I don't see a really good clear image of what I want. Let's see what color breakdown does for me. Still not exactly what I want. So let's back up and do the one where I color coded it. That's your applique badge here. So we're going to touch the applique shield. And there's my color coded design. So we're going to go ahead and touch set. If you've gotten yours out of a software program besides PE Design, you may need to change it and give it an offset, but mine should be perfect for the activity that we're planning today. So let's go over to our staging table here. And yes, ma'am.
We did have a question now that I see that Durkee Cap Frame. Lynn asks, what's the max height on that again?
That one is a 4x4.
Great. Which is larger than the cylindrical. So
yes, the cylindrical one, the standard cap frame is 5 1/8 by 2 3/8 height. All right, so I've got my fabric here, and I have actually got a fusible on the back of it. I've got the Brother iron-on fabric contact sheets. So on mine, I'm going to just lay it on my standard mat. And you want to make sure that your fusible is well ironed to the back of the fabric. When you think it's ironed on there, go ahead and press it again because it will actually cut much better if it's well melted into it. At your ScanNCut machine, you want to make sure that you have the standard black auto blade in. When you have a fusible on the back of your fabrics, you're going to use the standard black auto blade. If you have something without a fusible on the back of it, that's when you use your fabric blade and your fabric mat. So let's go ahead and put our mat in the machine. Place your hand right there and touch your load key.
Yeah. So Anne is asking, which mat are you using currently?
I have my standard mat, the one with the purple rim on the bottom of it. So one of the things that I love about my ScanNCut is you noticed I did not fill my page with my fabric, right? This little key right here is a magical wizard. That is our background scan key, and it's going to allow us to scan in our fabric to see where we can place our embroidery design. I'm going to change my output here to where I can hear you on another screen. Oops, I guess I can't. Have to turn that monitor on. All right, so we're going to take it and drag it where we want to go. And if you really wanted to grab a particular piece of the fabric, you can touch the edit key and you can zoom in. So this allows you to zoom in up to 400% to where you can see exactly where you want to place that fabric. So if you had something that was really pretty pattern and you were trying to grab just part of that in your design, you can do that. Go ahead and touch OK. We are ready to cut. So let's go ahead and touch OK again. Touch OK one more time because now we need to tell it what we want it to do. We want to cut. Because you can cut, you can draw, you can emboss, you can foil, you can paper pierce. There's all kinds of activities that you can do here. And we simply want to cut today. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put a test cut on here just so you can see how that works. Your test cut adds a little cut file down here. And you can take it and you can change it to a different size, different style, whatever you want to use. I personally, with fabric, use the circle because it cuts all of the angles of the fabric. And a circle is the hardest thing to cut in fabric because it has to cut every single angle. So I've moved it into my fabric. And if you want to make sure, you can always zoom in and make sure that you're in there. We're in pretty good. Go ahead and touch OK. And now let's tell it we want it to cut. My half cut setting is turned off. That is perfect. Let's go ahead and say start, and it'll start and cut our test cut. And then it will stop and we'll check and make sure that our test cut was cut cleanly.
Very cool. So you turned half cut off because we're actually cutting fabric today, right? That's
yes. We are cutting fabric and we want to cut all the way through the fabric. If we were cutting heat transfer vinyl, hold on just a second, Barbara. Technical challenge here, and I'm about to fall over in my chair.
No, timber.
Timber for sure. I'm trying to get you over to the other speaker so I can hear you. Oh,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you're far away from me. You're at the computer and I'm over there. So that should work better. Talk to me now.
Very cool. Can you hear me?
I can, much better. So I can turn you up a little bit over here.
Cindy, we haven't gotten many questions because you're explaining things so well, but we did get a lot of great love for you. So Cindy says, Jill says, Cindy is so knowledgeable and a great instructor.
Thank you, Miss Jill.
Yes.
All right, so our test circle has cut perfectly. I am ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and look back at our screen and just tell it to go ahead and start. And it's going to cut our little applique design out for us. And listen to that. The first thing that it does is so super quiet. The first thing it does is it tests how deep that mat is, and then it tests the fabric, and then it cuts. So those are what the two little noises are that you hear. Nothing major, and it is super whisper quiet. We love that about our ScanNCut machines. And I'm throwing fabric all over the place here.
I have a question from Sherry May Lee. I see that you have the Brother 330D X there. She says, do you have to purchase that model to get Disney designs?
You do not have to purchase it to get Disney designs. You can purchase Disney cards that are available. You activate those through your Canvas Workspace account. You purchase those from your dealer, but there are quite a few that are available. So my fabric is cut. I've unloaded my mat. Let's come back over here and look at it. Let me move my Durkee frame out of the way. The built-in Disney designs are not generally available through Canvas Workspace, though. I will say that. So there's my applique. Look how pretty that is cut. Where's my little spatula? I've got a really nice clean mat here today. That's the other reason you want to make sure your fabric is well melted to your backing. It's because if it's not, your backing may stick to your mat. All right, we're perfect. Let's move this out of the way and let's look at our Durkee cap frame. So this is your cap frame, and I have put on a piece of adhesive tearaway backing. Okay. Yes, I'm using the Brother brand. There are other brands out there, but y'all know I'm a Brother girl. So I like my Brother stuff. And we're going to take our cap, and unlike the other cap frame, in this one, we want to make sure that we get that brim out of the way. Now, you do want to make sure there on that one you do too, but you don't have to tape it out of the way. Some people cut theirs. Some people, it all depends on your method of madness. I personally just take a little bit of tape and press it out just to hold it away. And I'm using paper tape. Medical paper tape is a girl's best friend in embroidery. All right. So we're going to flatten it out just a bit. We're going to unscrew the screws here on our cap frame because this is what's going to hold that brim out of the way for us. And let's take that and slide our brim up underneath here. I need to loosen it up just a little bit more.
I absolutely love Durkee's products. And so if anyone's interested in, if you see anything on this show that you like, go ahead and click the link in the description of this video. We'll also put it in the comments where you can shop all the products that you see in this video.
So I'm taking it down as far as I can get it into my cap frame here. So you'll notice that I've got it this way, it's extended past this. This will let me clamp it down in place. And we're just going to screw those screws back in place. I'm going to go ahead and take this out just to flatten things out a little bit more. There we go. And now we're going to take this little guy right here and smush him down onto our adhesive backing.
Hey, Cindy.
Yes,
Cheryl says that she's actually sewed a design onto that strip.
Yes, I've actually sewn through 2 layers with the real cap frame.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're not the only ones.
Yeah, no, I never knew I could sew through. I kept wondering. I was doing it on my first 10 needle, and it's probably the first hat I ever did on the 10 needle using the cap frame.
Here's a really, go ahead.
So, and I evidently put it in there with the back of it underneath the cap frame. I sewed through, and that machine was just a hop, and I'm like, well, Paulette Bell told me I did not ever need to use anything bigger than a 7511 needle on this machine, but I'd be darned if I don't. So I switched it over to 9014. When I got done with that cap, I had sewn through the cap, through the Velcro, through 4 layers of denim.
Oh, God. Here's a good question from Beth Small. She says, can you use the same principle of that cap frame using other embroidery machines?
Yes, Durkee does make one for other embroidery machines as well. So my seam may not be exactly where I want it to be. So we're going to check that at the machine instead of me sitting here playing with this. We'll do it at the machine. We'll use the laser LED drop light on the machine to make sure we're in the center position. All right, so let's go back over to our machine. I'm going to go ahead and insert this. And it goes into your regular arm, the A arm, okay? And I want you to see something really cool here. I'm going to turn off the light on my machine bed so you guys can see what this looks like when you're actually working with it. So now let's go to that one right there. Okay, so do you see that little drop light there? That's that's where the center of my design is right now. So if I need to adjust that, I'm going to go back to my screen and I'll take and move it. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to see where the center bottom is first. So I touch that little needle drop position thing and we'll drop that. So now let's see. We're really close to the brim, but not as far down as I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and touch OK. And I'm going to move that down in the hoop. And I want you to see what that looks like as it moves down in the hoop. So do you see that little LED red drop light? You can see exactly where I am. and we can move it over to the left. That's the other nice thing about this cap frame is I can get closer to my brim than I would in a regular one. I just want to make sure I don't have the metal in the wrong place. There we go. We're good. Now I want to check one other spot. So let's look back at that needle drop position again. Let's check the left side. And if we look at that where it dropped, no, I was right on number 4. You see where y'all can't see that dropped there, but it's dropping right here. That, however, if you look at my screen, let's look at my screen. Do you see where that is? That's not in the way because my design is not actually going to sew except for it up there. So it's not going to get in actually in that corner. But let's look at the top center or middle, the middle. I'm right on my center part. I'm going to go to the very top. I'm right at the top of that. I may need to wiggle my fabric just a little bit to make sure I'm still in the center. That's good. And I'm ready to rock and roll. So the first thing that this is going to do is it's going to stitch my placement stitch, which is what we cut out of our fabric. So let's go ahead and let me show you how to thread it before we go there. Because currently I think I have gray as my thread and I want pink. So we're going to come here and we're going to use the thread cutter on the machine. I absolutely love that. I wish my multi-needle had that. We're going to tie a little knot in this little bad boy. Just like you would if you were using a serger. And then you're going to simply take this and pull it down. I pulled it out of the needle first, and we're just going to pull it through until you see the pink color. There we go. Now let's look and see how we thread this guy. Well, let me show you one last thing here on our screen. So needle threading is right here. So this little button right here is your needle thread. So we're going to touch that button. Oops. It does help if your cap does not get in the way. And my cap got in the way that time. So hold on. Let's try this again. Needle threader. There we go. Now let's look down here. Wrong one. Okay, you're going to go up and underneath the needle threader, up around the thread cutter, and then you're going to press that needle threader button again, and your needle is threaded. It is that magical. That is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. So we are now ready to stitch our placement stitch. Y'all ready?
Oh, yeah.
Ma'am?
I said, oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's lock it and let's let it go. And it's going to take off and it's going to stitch my placement stitch for me. This should be a pretty quick stitch part. And let's let you all see it stitch. I have it slowed down. Let's go ahead and speed it up. It can stitch up to 1,000 stitches per minute. I kind of keep it, the slower I have it, the less loud it is. And I can hear your questions.
Yeah, it definitely reduces bouncing when you go a little bit.
Yes, it does, especially when you're on an upper floor.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk a little bit. We had a question about the stabilizer that you're using. Ann Philbeck asked, is that sticky stabilizer? Yes,
that is adhesive tearaway stabilizer.
Yeah. So tell us about like kind of, what do you call this? The floating method?
It is kind of float. I mean, this is floating, but you actually have it gripped by that brim of the cap with that cap frame. Does that make sense? So it is floated, but not totally.
I'm just laughing because Beth said that she thought she said cat instead of cap.
Well, could be that. All right, so let's come back over to our staging area. And let's take our fabric that we cut. You're going to bring me back. There we go. And we're going to iron these in place. That's the other reason that I used this particular frame, because Barbara wanted to do applique hats. So this allows me to do that. And I couldn't decide how I would possibly be able to iron in the other frame. So here we go. I would have had to manually cut. Y'all don't want to watch me do that. That's not my forte. That is why I love my ScanNCut, because I was terrible at cutting appliques. We're just going to touch that down there a little bit. And I'm going to do it on the next piece. Got to make sure I find the right one. There we go.
We have a very good question from Mary now.
Okay.
And I actually often wonder what other people do in this scenario. So when you use sticky stabilizer, sometimes it can gum up on the needle. And she says, should you clean your needle after using sticky stabilizer?
It is never a bad idea to clean your needle.
What do you use?
Using adhesive. I use an alcohol wipe.
Okay. I use rubbing alcohol and I put it on a Q-tip. But I will try the wipe because that might work a little bit better, I think.
I've also used Sewer's Aid. That's been around for eons. It's kind of like a silicone type thing, and it works rather well. I'll use that on my needle. If you don't have near the issue with a tubular machine as you do with a flatbed machine with the sticky having issues. I don't know why that is. It may just be the torque of the machine. But if I see that my needle is gummed up, then I'll put the little Sewer's Aid on it before I start stitching. And that tends to keep it from sticking to my needle. And I put that directly on the needle, not on the thread. You don't ever want to put something on your thread to go through the thread path. Okay? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want them to mess up their tension. So never put something on your thread that's going through your thread path. All right. I think we're good. How about you?
That looks amazing.
I could leave it like that, but I think we're going to put our cover stitch on it.
Let's do that.
Turn my iron off so I don't burn anything up. Because knowing me, I forget to turn it off.
Mini Oliso that you have there?
Yes. I do have a little mini Oliso, but that one is not that.
Okay.
That one is even smaller than my mini Oliso. But I love my mini Oliso. I use it for quilting all the time. If they watched me on Brother Sews on Tuesday, I was using that bad boy. Okay. So we're back over at the Persona, Miss Barbara. There we go. I've put it back in. And it's going to stitch a tack down stitch. Well, you know what? Since I adhered it to it, I really don't need that tack down stitch. So I think I'm going to fast forward through that, if that's okay with you all. If you don't want to stitch a stitch, the machine lets you fast forward through colors or stitches. So if you break your thread in the middle of something, we hope that doesn't happen, or your bobbin runs out. You know, we always say, may your bobbin never run out. But if one of those things happens, that plus minus needle allows you to fast forward and reverse through threads. So if you needed to back up some stitches, you can back up some stitches. If you want to fast forward some stitches, you can do that. If you want to skip an entire color, you click the thread spool with the plus sign. And that allows you to skip that entire color, which is what I'm going to do. We'll go ahead and touch OK. And then let's touch lock and press the go button when it's flashing. So if I forget to touch my go button while it's flashing, it will turn back to red. That's a safety feature. So in case you are called away from your machine and need to do something else, and yet, especially if you have small children in the house, that allows the machine to lock itself back to where they can't unlock it unless they know to touch the lock and the go button. So I do love that they try to make things to where we are very safe and we can't damage anything. So it is stitching that out. And while that's stitching, I can come answer some questions.
All right, cool. So let's see. We have some very good questions. The first one is from Pat, and it's regarding the cap frame that's on the Persona. And she says that she has, I guess she has a 6 needle and the single needle Persona. So the 6, I know the 6 and 10 needle take the same Durkee frame, correct?
Is there a different bracket for that? That I'm not sure. For some reason, I think there's a specific one for the 6 and 10 needle as opposed to the Persona.
I looked it up. It looks like there's a SKU for a 6 and 10 needle. And then there's a separate SKU for the Persona, which has a different.
Yeah, and the reason that that's the bracket, because the bracket that holds it onto the machine, the frame holder, that little arm that's sticking out there that I stuck the hoop into, that's different on the 6 and 10 needle than it is on this machine.
Oh, cool. Let's see. Oh, here's just a comment from Marissa. She owns the Persona. She says she loves the simplicity. It's very user-friendly. That's great to hear. And I agree.
It is great to hear. And, you know, it is a workhorse. This little guy is a workhorse. It is a single needle machine, small footprint, and it works very well.
Yeah.
You rarely have problems with it.
Yeah. So here's another one. Another Stay Unique Printwear too says she loves her Persona. So she owns one as well. And then Maritza says that she has this machine. So that's great to hear. So many folks watching. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So here's a really good question from Anne. Does this machine have a camera?
No, ma'am, this one does not. The only machine that we have that is a tubular machine that has a camera on it is the 10 needle machine. So the 1055 is the current one in the lineup.
Yeah, but you're in luck. So if you're interested in either there's 3 different tubular arm machines from Brother. There's a single needle, a 6 needle, and a 10 needle. And they all have financing available on them right now. So 60 months financing on purchases over $5,000 and 36 on purchases over $3,000 with Brother currently. So if you're interested in one of these machines, I know you can purchase the Persona online, but the 6 and 10 needle you can purchase in any one of our retail stores in Louisiana and Texas. And here's
you know, I see the comment, she loves her Persona more than her 670. I see that a lot because, I mean, it's so simple and it is a little workhorse. If you're doing monograms, it's generally a single color and you can just set it up and forget it.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Lorraine has visions of owning one. Well, now's the time because you can get 60 months financing on the Persona. If you give AllBrands a call, you can place that order online. So that's 0%.
And we're just about done over here.
Yeah. So let me just tell everybody a little bit more about this machine that we have that we've been sewing on today. This is the Brother Persona PRS100. It's $49.99.99. And you can finance that with the Brother 0% You're in Luck financing event that goes through the 28th of this month. So don't miss your chance on that. I know you won't be disappointed.
And happy St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
Who knew we would? When we scheduled this, I did not realize it was St. Patrick's Day. So it is done. For those of you that didn't realize it, it did cut my jump stitches the entire time. So there are no jump stitches left. And it's perfectly done here. I mean, that is a cute little hat.
I have to see it on you, Cindy.
You have to see it on me. Oh, Lord.
So cute.
All right, let's come back over here and we'll take it off the thing. And I did a really light zigzag stitch on this one so that it wasn't a real dense design. So I'm going to unscrew these and I'm going to pop it out the back. Let's just kind of pop that off. Now, the nice thing is if I wanted to, if I'm careful with this, I can use this base stabilizer again and I could just tape in my hole. Usually I'm not real careful and I just don't care and pop it off, but there you go. So there's my cap. Let's take off our tape. And it's nice and clean. Nice. This is easy to take off. That's the other reason I like the paper tape. And it's not going to get stuck underneath your stitches. It'll tear off. And it works with your ScanNCut too. So if you have something you need to tape down, medical paper tape is a girl's best friend. And then you just put it into position.
Very, very cool. Everyone loves it. They're saying in the comments.
And I mean, it really does give you the capability of doing much larger designs. So if you look here, I'm going to show you a couple of others. So here's another one. And this part here is the applique on this and the actual intertwined font from BES Blue and BES4 is on that one. And this is the intertwined font by itself. So you can see how large you can actually get on these caps.
Yeah.
And this is more like the size that you would get when you're, as far as height goes, if you're doing it on the standard cap frame. So does that give you a different reference there?
Mm-hmm. I love it. Very cool. Here's a question from Mary. Could you use the Durkee frame to do a sun visor?
You certainly could.
That's a good question.
I don't see why not. You just get the brim down in here and make sure that you stick it to this portion. You want to make sure that you stick it up far enough to where you can actually stitch it though. Mm-hmm. This right here you want to avoid at all costs. So you can see how far I left. And a test way to check that out is after you've got it hooped, look at it from the back side and see if you see your brim. So see, you want to be able to see a little bit of the brim part of it. That'll keep you from stitching into the frame because it is a non-standard frame.
Here's a comment from Marissa. She says, I love the simplicity of the persona, very user-friendly. And so where did you create this design?
I created that design a combination of places.
Oh, really? I'd love to know.
Combination of places. I actually went, I'm going to flip back over to the computer here. I actually went to BES4 because I have all of my power packs there. And I create one of the power packs is artwork mode. Okay. So artwork mode, talk and let me see if I can hear you.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. I can hear. I was making sure you were in front of me instead of behind me. So let's go into I'll share my screen. Let me find BES4 and I'll share that screen. Maybe.
Oh, I think you answered Mary's question. How close to the brim is the stitching? But maybe you can
get it pretty much as close as you want. That is whatever your preference is. I usually kind of leave it a little bit above it because you're not going to see it if you have it on. So, see my cap.
Ah, look at you. Very cute. It would be so easy to just make some green ones real quick before you go out for the evening.
There you go.
For all your friends.
I'm trying to hide some other stuff. I've got stuff up on my desktop here. Hold on. Let me just minimize my screen.
Creative people. I know.
I did not close my, there we go.
Here we go.
There we go. Doesn't quite match my outfit. So let me pull my BES4 over there. And I could have done it here, but it wasn't giving me the exact look I wanted. So I took it into P Design at that point. So here is my screen of BES4. And I went into my text tool and I chose my monogram text tool. And I didn't have any monogram appliques. So Power Pack 2 gave me rounded modern monogram. And what that is your circular monogram. So I typed in my initials. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Let's go back. Rounded modern. There it is. Type in my letters and click apply. So then I added a little bit of spacing to that. Let's see here. I went into 3. Let's apply that. See how that's getting a little bit wider? I'm going to go ahead and make it one more. Let's go one more. And then I did something else that was a little different. So on my tools tab with artwork, I have an offset mode. But before I can do that, I have to break up my text. And so I grabbed that text and I went in and I said, create an offset, because I wanted it better. And I chose, we'll see what 2 looks like around the outside edge. And you can tell if I change that color to red, you see how I added that around the outside edge of that. So that made my fatter letter. So then I deleted my original one. And at this point, if I want to, I can convert it to applique here. I changed my width to 2.5. I know that. I did that in BES, excuse me, in PE Design. But you can resize it to whatever size you want. Right now, it is almost 4 inches, not quite. Let's see here. Let's look. It's 2.5. So let's put our 4-inch hoop up. You can make it whatever size you want it to be. And that's, I mean, that's super simple. That's what I did.
Cindy, you want to know what I did recently?
What did you do?
I didn't have my computer handy with the software on it. So I had my ScanNCut and I have a Luminaire, which has my design center, like the 10 needle tubular arm embroidery machine. So I took a font from my embroidery machine. I put it on a USB stick. I put that font into my ScanNCut and used the flower icon.
Yes.
And then cut it out. And then I brought that font back into my design center and just made it into an outline and made an applique that way. And it actually worked.
It's, you know, and here's another thing.
Software works a lot easier, I promise.
Yeah. What you could also do, just so you know, if you have that My Connection activated on your Luminaire now, you could have typed that in, sent it over to your Luminaire, filled it in with a color, and then turned it into an applique directly on the machine.
That's what I should have done. There's so many different ways.
Oh, there are so many different ways.
Anne uses Simply Applique. We actually, that's a very popular product for us.
Yes, it is a very popular. And this is basically, Simply Applique is a module out of the BES software. So it just doesn't have as many bells and whistles, but it does a very nice job. I just did an entire lesson on that on Tuesday.
Oh, cool. Oh. Very cool. So this is BES that you're using to make this design.
Yes, I'm using BES 4 because it has all of the power packs. So, hold on. I'm answering a question over here. Yes. Okay. So, I mean, if I had exported that into P Design, then I could have done other things. You can also, if I didn't want it to be in a satin stitch, I could have changed it to a blanket stitch. I could have changed it to a motif stitch. And there are tons of motifs in here. Same thing could be done if you have this as artwork. So if you can find a monogram font and use it through your Canvas workspace, which is free, you could certainly bring it into Simply Applique and do the same style type things. There just aren't as many options, not quite as many options.
Wow. Very cool.
You can have all kinds of fun with this.
It's so easy.
And I mean, my pattern size right now is 3. So if I wanted that to be 2.5, I could change that to 2.5. So now it's a little bit more condensed, not quite as compact. So yeah, lots of fun.
I love it, Cindy. That is so cool. So let me see if we have any more questions. Here's one from Gwen Sledge. She says, how easy is it to stitch on structured hats? Good question.
With structured hats, I would probably be using my regular cap frame, the one that's cylindrical.
Yeah, because You have to flatten it out with the Durkee one, but you get more surface, you get more embroidery area with the Durkee.
You do get more embroidery area, but you do have to flatten it out. So the structured caps are a little bit easier to do with the regular one, and it will follow the curve. So it depends. I mean, if you don't mind flattening it out, it will go through it. There's not a problem with it actually penetrating the area. It's just a matter of whether you can actually get it hooped in there that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, here's one more from Kelly. She said, I saw an email, probably from AllBrands, come through with a Brother Spring sale on the ScanNCut. Do y'all have those in stock? And I will check on that for you while I bring this up. I'd like to add my screen because I have the Brother gift guide. Cindy,
okay,
is that
I'll stop sharing mine. There
okay.
You go.
All right, so this is the Brother Spring gift guide. I have the paper version, which is available in our retail stores if you stop by, or you can access it. I actually included the link in the description to this video so you can see it a little closer. But, oh my goodness, let me find the screen so that I can move it around. Okay, here it is. So, can you see this? The luminaire comes with PE design, the magnetic sash frame, plus, and I noticed we both have these on, and this was not planned, but they're so popular.
It was not.
Smartwatch.
And y'all don't realize that is actually important, because if you have, oh, what is the app? Give me, my brain is just not there today. Hold on. Let me see here. What is that app? It's Brother. It's is it My Design? No, My Stitch Monitor.
It works.
So if you have My Stitch Monitor on your phone, it will notify you on your watch when something is finished on your luminaire or your 10 needle or your 680W.
Oh, that is perfect.
And the layer. It'll monitor it. So.
Yeah, I love mine. It keeps track of all my steps. It gives me, I don't have to search for my phone every time I get a message. I can answer my calls on it. It's so great to have. What a great, and I believe that one is a rebate. So when you purchase the machine during the promotion, you need to send in the rebate form in time, and they'll send you that Apple Watch. Yes. There's also a special for 20% off of software and accessories. So we just put out the coupon code for our website. It's Brother20, BROTHER20. So don't miss out on that. That is during the spring promotion, which is March 11th through April 11th. And this year is 2022. All right. So the 6 needle has a free stand, the free flash frame kit, and PE Design 11. With it, and that's phenomenal.
And the stand is the same one that mine's sitting on. Yes. It's a nice stand. You can set it, you can make it as high or as low as you want it. I've got mine as low as I can get it.
Yeah. Here's a coupon for 25% off all embroidery designs. Let's talk about embroidery for a moment, because the persona that we're looking at today actually accepts Disney embroidery designs through embroidery, right?
It sure does. Matter of fact, I have one over here that I stitched the other day. It comes with some compact frames as well that allow you to get in these little teeny tiny spaces without taking them apart. So this one is straight off embroidery.
Love it.
And you're able to stitch with, that's the beauty of a tubular arm machine, guys, is that you can get in there and do teeny tiny get in small areas. I also have a flamingo that I'm pretty sure we did on one of your shows, Barbara.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love having you on the show.
The other Durkee frames.
Les Flamingo. Very cool. That was using the 7-in-1, right?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so let's go back. We'll just go through quickly through the spring gift guide. The 10 needle comes with the free PRS border frame. And y'all, this is just Brothers promotion. If you check allbrands.com website, we often throw in even more than this. So please consider us as your dealer. and check us out on our website first, and then come visit us in our retail stores. And some of these machines are actually available for purchase online. So just check. I know the Persona that includes the border frame. I'm sorry, look, I was looking differently. The Persona includes the border frame. The 10 needle includes the stand, the flash frame, and PE Design 11. Oh, wow.
That gives you that wireless capability, full digitizing. I mean, that's a huge benefit right there. Yeah. The flash frames and that's a big deal.
Yeah. So if you're a sewer, we have tons of great offers and specials on machines for sewing and quilting. And then the ScanNCut. So the one you have is maybe the version on the left.
Yep, I'm 330D.
Ooh, are you a 330D girl? Yes.
I'm a 330D girl.
Yeah. So the 330D, which Cindy has, can be purchased in our retail stores. But the one on the right, which is the newest model, 325, and that one includes the fabric mat and fabric bundle in the box. That one is available for online purchase. So can you explain just the difference between the two options of those?
The difference between the two options, okay, so they both have my connection in them. Okay. They both come with, I do believe, a standard mat. The Disney one comes with a low tack mat. The 325 comes with the fabric mat and the fabric blade. The Disney model comes with the standard blade and the rotary auto blade kit.
Yeah. Which has been back ordered for a long time.
It's in the box with that baby.
Get the 330D because it comes in the box. Oh, goodness.
In the box. So, and that includes 63 rotary auto blade patterns. So, I mean, it's good value. And I love my rotary auto blade. I will say that is the bomb. Yeah. It allows me to cut through some of those challenging fabrics that we haven't been able to do in the past. I get a lot of questions. Do you cut your quilt blocks with that? Really, that's not how I cut quilt blocks. I use that rotary blade to cut things like craft felt that you couldn't cut before, fleece that you couldn't cut before, things, sweater knit, neoprene.
Yeah.
I mean, lace, things that you have that you've had challenges in the past to cut. That's a beautiful blade to cut with.
Oh my goodness. So we're getting a few questions about.
And of course, well, let me answer the rest of them. They both have the same base 1305, I believe it is, designs built into it. The Disney model has 152 Disney designs exclusive to that machine.
But you can still purchase.
You can purchase some Disney designs
on Canvas Workspace.
No, you purchase those from you. They activate them on Canvas Workspace.
Thank you. So click the link in the description of this video for those Disney designs. We've added those since. Great. Very cool.
Are we done with our gift guide? Because I do see some questions up here.
Sure. Let's see here. Let's bring up some of those questions.
Susan, you need to, if you're wanting to export an FCM file, you need to go up in Canvas Workspace. You would go up to the File pull-down menu and choose Export FCM File. Or if you're transferring it wirelessly, export to your machine. So transfer via the internet, I believe, is what it's technically called. I can show that if you would like me to. And you might want to watch one of my Tuesday shows because we do an awful lot with Canvas Workspace. I cover every Brother software program that we have in that live. So every Tuesday at 3:30 Central on my page, I do a live on Brother software, and I take it from the questions that you guys send in.
Perfect. And remind everybody where they can find you.
Cynthia's Embroidery on Facebook or YouTube.
Perfect.
Yes, Esther. So if you let's share my screen again. I didn't take it the rest of the way. So if you have
let's see.
Power Pack 1 or Power Pack 2, you can actually export, well, you can export an FCM file regardless. So if I want to export this as an FCM file, I go to my Tools tab and touch the Scan and Cut button. That generates the artwork that will match my applique. At that point, if I don't have a Power Pack, I can export my FCM file. You'll notice it automatically goes FCM, and then I can say monogram. If you happen to have Power Pack 1 or Power Pack 2, you can send it directly to the Scan and Cut from BES4. And all I have to do is touch send. And now I do need to log into my Canvas Workspace account. Evidently, I haven't done that since I upgraded my computer. I bet it's going to tell me I typed in the wrong password because, yep. But my browser made me change my passwords. So it is sent to my machine and it will be waiting there for me to retrieve. And if we want to, I can do that in a few minutes. But if you had exported that as an FCM file, you can, if you have a wireless model of ScanNCut, I'm going to open up my Canvas Workspace here. You can certainly, let's go, I'm going to import from my computer, which is my, let's see here. Where did I save that to? Hold on.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one that does this every time I save something somewhere. That's always
I put some stuff on my website today. So there's a free shamrock design. There's a free shamrock design on my website today. So if somebody needs a last minute gift idea, there you go.
I get click happy, and whenever it asks me, like, do you want to save this? I say yes, and I don't even look where I'm actually putting the design.
So if I didn't have one of those Power Packs, or I have simply Applique, or I have BES Blue, once I generated that artwork file, I can go File, Export, Transfer, FCM file. If I want to go to USB, I didn't have to bring it into this program, just so we're clear on that. But this is where you're trying to get that question of she can't save from her Canvas Workspace. This right here is where you're able to export your FCM file or transfer it directly to your connected ScanNCut machine.
Very cool.
There you go. Now it's ready for me over there.
Very cool. Here's a question. Are we ready for the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. L. Faber asks, if I have all the Power Packs, is that comparable to having PE Design 11?
It is not. PE Design 11 is a full digitizing program. BES and BES, even with all of the Power Packs, is still a customizing program. It has lots of tools that allow you to do lots of fun stuff, but it is not going to let you digitize a fill stitch design from the ground up.
Yeah. So PE Design 11 currently comes with the Brother 10 needle with the flash frame and the stand and more. And it also comes with the Brother Luminaire as well. So if you're in the market for a machine, you can get them both right now currently. Very cool. Here's a comment from Cheryl. She says, I love how it all works together. Cute cat too.
Me too. I love the fact that they try to make our products work nice and seamlessly together.
Mm-hmm. Barbara Jones says she got her rotary blade and she loves it. And thank you for loving us. We love you back, Barbara. So great to see you. Here's another comment from L. Faber. Thank you for all of the educational videos. It's so good to see you. And thank you, Cindy, for sharing your expertise with us today.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, here's another one from Kelly. She says, I love the wireless features in our software and machines. This isn't a question, it's just a comment. Makes transferring so much easier. Hashtag AllBrands. So guys, don't forget, we're going to be doing very soon a giveaway for a $50 allbrands.com e-gift card. So be sure to comment hashtag allbrands.com, allbrands, to be eligible to win that in the comments. And we'll just be giving that away in a few minutes. Lori asks, is this available to watch later? Great question. So you can rewatch this on Facebook or YouTube. And we really hope that if these videos are helpful and you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, it's the little bell underneath this video so that you're notified every time that we go live. If you're on Facebook, please be sure to follow us on our page, AllBrands 1976. We also have a group called So Forum on Facebook, so please join our group. I know that sometimes on Facebook you can follow a page, but you don't always get the notifications from them. So the group just helps you get notified more often for that.
Speaking of groups, Heather and I just started one called the Education Connection.
Cool.
So we will start doing lives in there the first Tuesday of every month starting next month. And it's not software related. It is machine related. It should be lots of fun. So I'm going to sit there. I'm going to say this just because of the bots out there, guys, you get random people coming in and doing weird stuff. So please answer the questions and agree to the rules, and then you will be automatically admitted.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do one or both of those things, you won't be admitted.
Yeah, very cool. So let's just run down real quick before we do our giveaway, the main products that we showed today. So we talked about the Durkee Cap Frame. That's the flat. Did you say it was 4x4?
4x4, yes.
4x4. So this is on our website, allbrands.com. If you own a Persona, there's one for that. There's also another option for a 6 and 10 needle brother. We have them for other machines as well. And there's also some for the single needle embroidery machines like the Luminaire and the other brother machines. So if you own what do they call that? A flatbed machine, or something like the Luminaire, the Quattro, the Dream Machine, those types of machines. There's one available for that as well. Also, we talked about the ScanNCut. The 330D is available in our stores. We hope that you can come see us. If you can't come see us, you can purchase the 325 online, and it's a phenomenal machine as well. And the Persona PRS100, which you can finance for 60 months during this promotional period. And yeah, this is our financing that ends very soon on March 28th. So hope you guys all get to take advantage of that. So yes, thank you, Cindy, for coming on the show. What should we do next? What are you thinking?
Yeah, what would you all like to do next? Do you want my connection? Do you want more Persona and ScanNCut? Do you want 10 needle? What would you like to see?
Those
are what I have in this room. Look at, yeah, that's what I have in this room.
Sherry, you can follow Cindy at Cynthia's Embroidery on Facebook.
If they can't find me on Facebook, all they have to do is go to my website, and there's a Facebook link right there.
Perfect. Oh, Judy wants another Persona class. Tammy wants a ScanNCut. And so does Anne. And oh my gosh, Anne wants another Persona. We got a 10 needle request. Oh my gosh. Here's a question from Sherry. Last question. FCM is?
Okay, well, it depends on how you want to remember it. It is technically fabric cutting machine or fiber cutting machine. I call it fancy cutting machine.
Oh.
So that you can remember it. It is the proprietary format for the Brother ScanNCut.
I like that term better. I think we should rename it for sure.
Fancy cutting machine.
All right. Well, let's bring up the AllBrands giveaway screen. So comment hashtag AllBrands right now. Yeah.
Comment.
If we can bring that up. Here it is. And Jordan, if you could click that draw button and we will pick a winner. And thanks, Jordan and Lauren, for manning the comments and background for us. So we really appreciate that. Drum roll. Winner! Susan, congratulations.
And
Please
Wait.
email me at this email address below, events@allbrands.com, to claim your prize. Name, number, address. Congratulations.
Very much so. Congratulations.
Yes, yes. So we do this every week. So please come next week and comment hashtag, and you'll also be eligible to win. So
Who's
yes.
next week?
Oh, okay. So we have actually Tim Bond from Durkee is coming next week. And then the following week, we have Julian Collins from So Manly. He's going to be talking about serging. But we have tons of brother stuff on the docket. I know Heather Banks is coming to the show, Colleen Sweatman, just like the whole crew. I have them scheduled for like the rest of spring and summer. So if you're a brother fan, you are in luck. And Cindy's going to be on in June, right?
June.
Yes.
June.
So let us know if you want to see anything particular, and we'll consider it for the show. Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Cindy, for joining us today. We really appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure. You guys have a great day, and thanks again for joining us.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Happy St. Patty's Day.